Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Set Your YO, a.k.a. Coach Bird, and I'm the host of the BYRDCAGE Show. Cousin Tracy.
What's up?
We are back at it, episode 97, you know what I'm saying? And before I continue, cuz I just want to let the viewers know I don't have my regular stellar speaking voice today, you know what I'm saying? Those allergies is kicking your boy's butt right now, so please bear with me, please, you know what I'm saying? How your weekend going so far, guys?
My weekend's going good, you know. Of course, like we just discussed, today is pool cleaning day. Memorial Day coming up. Listen, thank you for all the people that reached out and said that he looked lonely on the couch last week. I appreciate you guys. I didn't know I was missed so much. I just so love it. Thank you. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Yeah, they said you look lonely over here.
Yeah, you know, we was missing you. You know what I'm saying? Glad you're back in your seat. You know what I'm saying? Definitely.
The body to your Clyde, right?
You know what I mean? Exactly. You know what I mean?
Or should we say Beavis and Butthead? All over. Pinky and the brain, maybe?
Yeah.
Because you damn sure the brain. Because here, I'm just, once again, on the pretty face.
That's definitely what's up. Well, as you see, we have another guest sitting on the couch in the cage with us today. You know what I'm saying? I have the pleasure of coaching his two sons in football at Pennsauken. You know, my man Rob, he's senior, he's graduating this year. And my man Derek, and I believe you said Derek has a camp you got to go to on Sunday over in Temple. Derek is one of the hardest working kids I know, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he just worked his way because the playing time that he got last year, I didn't see that in him, you know, going into the year. Yeah. And he just kept working. And it was like, yo, we got to put Derek on the field. You know what I'm saying? So we're definitely looking forward to big things this upcoming football season. You know what I'm saying? Can't wait.
Coach. So before you say his name, this guy that we got sitting on the couch today, he's way behind the scenes doing some amazing things with young men and women, and it's just so funny because you got so many people that are really out here working that people don't know about it. So today we're going to really dive deep into what he's doing. But like, I've seen him at prisons, like juvenile facilities, like, you know, and there's a lot of people that's doing stuff that people don't know about. So, you know,
Facts.
He's sitting on our couch.
So
now y'all gonna know. If you don't know, now you know.
You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, we got my guy, ROB Bayard, sitting on the couch. We definitely appreciate you coming through, spending a little time with us. And just say what's up to the people real quick.
What's up, everybody?
That's what's up. What's up. But what we got? Author, mentor, you know what I'm saying? Real estate, you know what I'm saying? What else does this guy do? You know what I mean? We're going to find out right now. So let's take it back to where it all began. Just let the folk know where you're from and all that good stuff.
I'm from Camden, born and raised. I used to live out Ablett Village. Okay. We lived out Ablett Village till like 85, 86. Then we moved to South 27th Street. Okay. So, you know, born and raised in Camden. Camden's my home.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Much love to Camden.
That's what's up. Which high school you going to?
I went to Woodrow Wilson.
We knew that.
I knew that was coming.
You know what I'm saying? It's all good, though. It's all good. You know, we're not going to hold that against him. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely all good. That's what's up. Did you play any ball or anything there?
I played football.
Okay.
I didn't play all my years there.
Okay.
Because I messed up a little bit.
Gotcha.
I wasn't eligible.
Okay.
But I came back my senior year. And got a spot.
That's what's up.
What year did you graduate from high school?
I graduated in 96. I played for the 95 team. With Bam and all that.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's what's up. Shouts out to Bam.
College.
I went to Widener University.
Okay.
That little bit of football kind of got me a couple looks.
Okay.
But my grades just didn't
transition. I feel you. I've been there. Trust me.
Yeah.
Cousin will let you know. I've been there. I got put out.
That will send you home.
Yes.
Yeah. But I got it together.
That's what's up. That's definitely what's up.
Listen, they always say it ain't how you start, it's how you finish, right?
True.
Yeah, I graduated college.
There you go. Now, when you graduated from Widener, what'd you do after that?
I was working in a detention center.
Okay.
In Chester County.
Okay.
I was a detention officer, and I started working with them when I was about. I actually worked with them before I graduated.
Oh, okay.
I was working with them when I was maybe about 20.
Okay.
So I've been working with youth for like 25 years.
That's what's up. That's always a good thing. We always champion people that work with the youth because we need it. You know what I'm saying? We definitely need it. You know what I mean? So what is it that you do now?
So right now, I work for the housing department
Okay.
of a local university.
Okay.
I don't even want to say that.
I got you. I got you.
But I work in a housing department.
Okay.
And on the night side of things, I work with a residential.
Okay.
That's in the area. I do overnight work.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
do little groups and stuff like that.
Okay.
With them.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. Now, you know, I was doing my research and I see you do a little real estate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How long you been doing that?
As far as being a realtor, really this year.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I became a realtor this year. I went to school for it. Took the classes last year.
Okay.
You know, I bought my first property when I was in my early 20s.
Got you. Sound like her.
Yeah. So, you know, from there and now, you know, I got a little bit of rental and some tenants.
That's what's up.
I'm, you know, I'm learning the game, you know, but I like it.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. How is the housing market right now? Like, I'm always interested. Like,
It's
how
like-
it's
it's
up
like a
and
seller's
down. Is it up
market
right
right
now? Is it
now.
down? Okay. Okay.
Right, it's
Yeah.
not a buyer's
Okay.
market, and
Okay.
and that's not good.
Interest rates are high.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
do you see it going down?
The market's going to correct itself at some point, and
What's the some point? Because the food market ain't correcting itself.
no,
The education market ain't correcting itself. I need to figure out when these markets is going to correct themselves, because I bought 7 lamb chops for $60 the other day.
At 7 for how much? 60.
It was $55.68 for 7 lollipop lamb chops.
Sheesh.
Sorry, I know that was off the beat path, but we was talking about markets, because markets, he talking markets. Yeah, so you think it's going to correct itself at some point?
Yeah,
Because
some
I got to buy a house. I need to buy a house. I'm trying to retire for real.
okay,
this
holla at
time.
me. You know,
Are you just Jersey or you?
No, I'm just licensed in Jersey right now.
Okay.
And right now I'm doing I deal with short sales and foreclosures.
Okay.
So I help a lot of people that have distressed properties, mainly in the city of Camden right now.
Okay.
That's pretty much where we need a lot of help, because a lot of people have they're in foreclosure situations and they don't realize they can get out of it.
Gotcha.
You know, and there's techniques and
Right.
there's ways to kind of plead your case, because, you know, sometimes these lenders make mistakes too.
Okay. Okay.
So we have to be aware of that.
Right.
So after I got my license, I took a course to get certified in the short sales and foreclosure resource. So
That's what's up. Hey, if you're watching, you need to get at him. Where can they get at you on the real estate side of things?
they can just, you know, they can contact me at my phone number, or they can go to my I have a social media page.
Okay, and I'll make sure all that's up there when it's asked. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you got questions or whatnot, hit him up. You know what I'm saying?
Can you get
definitely more than-
licensed in
help you
another
out.
state, because New Jersey got me in a chokehold? I need to be out of here.
Where you trying to go, cuz?
I'm thinking like maybe Delaware.
Delaware. Don't go like if you go to Delaware. Go
I'm going like Newcastle quick.
all right, there you
But I'm a woman that knows how to follow the lead of her man. So
gotcha.
I can say what I want out my mouth.
right. We got
If the man got a different plan,
you got somebody else to talk to first, right?
yeah, so let's just act like I ain't say nothing, and we'll see where I land.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Let's talk a little bit about your mentoring situation, right? You started, what's it called, New View, I believe?
Yeah,
Mentoring?
New View Mentoring.
Yeah. How did that? When did you start that up, and what made you want to start that up?
I started New View Mentoring in 2015.
Okay.
And I started it up because I've been working with youth for so long, and I had the book I had a book already. I wrote the book in 2009. That's when I published the book.
Which one?
The Experience of Growth.
Okay.
And you know, coming up, a lot of us aren't taught about businesses.
Right.
So I started doing some research, and then I started trying to figure out ways to get into places to speak.
Okay.
And a lot of times these places wanted me to have insurance, or they wanted to have some type of numbers and all that to do purchases.
Right.
And so I was learning.
Okay.
You know, I was learning. And shout out to Woodrow Wilson, Principal Tyrone Richards. He's retired, but he was the first one to give me my first speaking engagement as far as like purchasing the book, because I had just dropped the book at that time.
Okay.
And they had a meeting with me and had me explain the book.
Okay.
So that was amazing because I graduated.
Right. Facts. So, now, what's the book about? Since we're talking about it.
Okay, so the Experience of Growth is a book that you follow a young man's journey of from transitioning from what he's learned into the streets to now changing his life. And the book touches on several different things. Like it touches on abuse issues, drug abuse issues, sexual abuse issues, all the issues that we see that kind of weigh our youth down today. Those are the things that, you know, I focus on in the book. And a lot of those things were things that I dealt with. And the group of guys that I grew up around, I realized there was a common theme with all of us, you know, because a lot of guys that I grew up with, you know, they kind of hit the prisons or hit the grave or just kind of, you know, in limbo. You know? And I realized the common theme that we had was that we were dealing with some form of trauma. We were dealing with some form of pain, and we didn't know how to get it out.
But I think for us, since we just tapped into my lane, what happens with trauma, the trauma is a lot of our stuff is generational, right? So think about some of our families, right? Some of our families, they weren't broken, but a lot of families that of black and brown descent have aunts that was raised by grandmom and uncles that lived in the same, uncles that was the same age as the little nephew, and they all lived in grandmom's house. That's a form of trauma. And even though it was a man and woman in the house, you just had like a whole bunch of family living in the house, right? And a lot of times crowded. Like I would hear my dad tell me stories. My grandfather and grandmother were well upstanding people. And from what I'm hearing, when I first became a police officer, they were the first black family in Everett Gardens that had a color TV. And they would turn it to the screen door and allow the kids in the neighborhood to watch the TV. Now, why I say that to say is because I had grandmom and grandpop lived in the house. Grandpop had a good job. But my aunt had a son that was the same age as my aunt. So they was raised like brother and sister. They slept in the room. Then there was two more in this room, and so it's crowded. But that's technically trauma. We call it family, but it's really a form of trauma. So now, when our parents have kids, right? If your aunt falls short and can't take her kid, where the kid end up? Your cousin end up staying in your house, right? So that's, you know, it's just trauma on top of trauma. And then we live in neighborhoods that the lighting was poor. We see trash daily. We see some people who didn't have as much as the next person. You know what I mean? So the trauma that a lot of us experience that we thought was normal, we normalized abnormal stuff. Some stuff that we call family, some stuff we call normal family stuff, is actually abnormal stuff that puts trauma upon us.
And that, you know, for me, also another piece of that was I was a victim of child abuse. So I kept that in for a long time. And it kind of, I'm not going to say it crippled me, but
it weighed you down.
It did, you know. And the thing is that when you read this book, you're following a young man, but a lot of our young men don't talk about this.
Because who do you talk to? And that's why I started my organization, because there was no place or space for a young black and brown man to say, yo, I don't feel good. Something ain't right. I can't, I got, it's something here I need to talk about, but where do I go to talk about it? Who do I go to? And to be frank, am I going to be considered weak if I talk about it?
Exactly.
And that's what happens a lot of times, you know, and I'm glad we're getting into a culture. We're getting into a culture right now where people ain't got no problem being emotional, telling how they feel. These young people, and I like it. I like to hear a young person tell me. Young person told me the other day was like, "I'm really anxious." Now I don't know where they learned the word from because it was a little person, but they knew that feeling, and they wanted to talk about it. Yeah, this thing, I'm anxious. You know, and I'm glad we're turning a corner where we're getting to a point in our culture, in our society, where it's okay to talk. Yeah. And it's okay to say, yo, my lights is off. Remember being a kid and there's something on in your house, you couldn't tell nobody.
No, you were told not to.
Yeah.
Right. So now it's okay to say, listen, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I'm a couple dollars short this week. Before it was, you ain't talk about none of that stuff. Right. You know what I mean? And that finances is traumatic.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, definitely.
Is. I mean, I remember that going to some of my friends' homes and them not having food. You know, I remember one of my friends, not just one, but a couple of my friends not having water, and you know, other people on the block, they're extending the water hose into their house so that they can have water, or extension cords going into their house to give them light. You know, so you know, and some of these issues have happened within my family. So I brought all of that into the books.
Got you.
Because I felt like it's not just specific to Camden.
It's society.
It's right. It's a lot of places and a lot of people, and you know, through this journey of working with youth, I've run across a lot of young men who have been able to express that they're dealing with trauma. They've dealing with abuse issues. And, you know, the young girls too. And a lot of times, you know, working in the system, your young women will speak about this a little bit more often than the men will, the young boys will.
Especially if it happens to be abuse in a sexual nature.
Yes.
So like you got a lot of young, when I first retired from the police department, I worked in, they called it a group home, but it was a halfway house for teenagers in Mercer County. Right near where the Mercer County juvenile jail was. They shut it down and they kept a house. And the house, like everybody was there was from court appointed. And the little girls would tell you, hey, listen, like I gotta do what I gotta do to make a couple of dollars. You know what I'm saying? But you'll see the little boys, you know something done happened to them. But the moment you try to bring it up, they ain't nobody touch me. Ain't nothing wrong with me. Ain't nobody touch me.
Especially your gang kids. Your gang kids, they're not gonna say that like in the group setting.
Right.
They'll catch you one-on-one, and you know, once you have that relationship with them, they'll
got you.
You know, expose what.
But it's a lot, and you'd be surprised. It's a lot of young men who've actually been, and you know what happens with our young men who've been sexually abused? They kind of become what they call a hypersexual, meaning they want to go out here and get a bunch of girls. Like I want to be a man's man because I don't want what happened to me to make anybody think that I enjoyed it or it was something I wanted. You know what I mean? So
yeah, true. Yeah. Now since we're talking to author Rob right now, the second one, Isolated Social, what is this one about?
So that book right there, it's several issues again, which it goes into, but it talks about this opioid epidemic. You'll follow a family that is in Camden. Both of my books take place in Camden. You'll follow a family who has a mother and a father in the home, because a lot of times we're represented without a mother and a father, and that's not always true. Because I've seen homes, you know, I knew people that had mothers and fathers, but it doesn't mean that nothing's going to happen to them. And they, you know, they're grieving the loss of a child who overdosed. The child, you know, was a very intelligent young man, got a scholarship to a private school and was introduced to drugs. And they live on a drug block. But then there's what Tracy was talking about. There's a family member who moved from Philadelphia into the home who became involved with a gang. So there's a lot of different pieces to it. The young man's girlfriend, the mother is experiencing domestic violence. So it touches on a lot of different things, and it shows you what our kids are dealing with when they walk into our schools. And that was the other piece of why I wrote the books, because growing up, the stuff I was experiencing dealing with, the abuse issues, I couldn't find the outlet.
Gotcha.
So I was reading like Huckleberry Finn no disrespect to those books.
Right, I understand.
But these books did not deal with the neighborhood I lived in. They didn't deal with the fact of the devastation of the crack epidemic that devastation had on my family.
Gotcha.
So I had to find a way to deal with that. So I used to write.
Okay.
So when I was a kid, I actually won a young authors contest at Forest Hill.
Okay.
And I was.
Look at that.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, I definitely didn't.
This is in the 80s. This is like probably like 88,
Okay.
87, something like that. I can't remember. But me and my mother was there, and the newspaper Carrier Post was there.
Okay.
And we were at Forest Hill and I won a young authors contest.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah. So, yeah.
That's definitely what's up. And I believe you can, because I checked, doing my research, you can get both of these books on Amazon Books.
Yeah.
Definitely there. Yeah. And we always love our guests who bring us gifts. Yeah. So he definitely blessed us with a couple copies of the book. So I can't wait to definitely.
And then we're going to put his social medias up, so I'm quite sure if you DM him or reach out to him, he'll probably have copies on hand if need be.
True indeed.
So I was told that I got a book inside of me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do.
But I don't know how to get it out.
You do.
Because me and language arts wasn't a good, we wasn't friends. So we had to talk. I keep saying I was going to get somebody like the kind of, I was going to record my story and let them write it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then the one person where I discussed it with, we'll talk. Because they keep saying, everybody keeps saying I need to.
You definitely.
I need to.
I've seen it.
And the more I tell people my truth and who I am, they're like, you need to put that in the book.
Nah, definitely.
They need to hear it.
True. Because it's going to help somebody. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely going to help somebody. You know what I mean?
I'm going to be honest with you. I've had, from the first book, when I first put that out, kids used to write me letters and tell me how much this book meant to them. And this is crazy. I don't condone this. A program I was working at, and one kid was transitioning out of the program. He was going home, and he took the book, the first book, because I had gave him a couple of copies.
Right.
Normally I sell them, but I was like, here, I gave y'all, I gave him a couple copies. And the other kid wanted the book to stay. And they actually got into a little bit of a scuffle over the book. And I said, it blew my mind, because I said, they rumbled over a book.
Right.
At that, but they rumbled over it. But I know that the one kid talked to me about the pieces of the book that really were him. He saw him.
Got you.
And that's why when people tell you that you have a book inside you, they see pieces of themselves inside of you based off of the story that you tell about your life. So
yeah, that'd be definitely a bestseller.
When the student becomes a teacher, it's a part of Robert Bayard's life that we're not going to discuss, but
I mean, you could go into it. It's cool.
So Robert Bayard, in between being a writer and the detention center, he was a Camden City police officer, a good one, I may add. And I trained Robert Bayard, and we used to ride together at night. And I used to kind of just, it's a lot of young officers. I tried to explain to them how the policing works and how to keep your head on a swivel and keep your nose clean, so you can, get out clear on the other side. So Robert Bayard was a Camden City police officer, like I said, like I said, a good one, and I liked him. He was a hard worker.
You don't like him no more?
Oh no. I
liked him.
I liked him no. I liked him as a
playing.
police officer, but I love him as a friend.
I got you.
I consider Robert Bayard a friend.
Definitely.
He's been supportive and he shows up for different things. He sits in the back though. Robert Bayard will come and support you and sit in the back in the corner. He'll get up and so kindly leave quickly. You won't even know he's there. But he's a really, really good dude. And
definitely.
So we have that connection. He will always be my little brother in blue. And he's a great guy. But so what actually are some of the services that New View Mentoring offer?
So mainly group therapy. Well, group empowerment sessions. Okay. I don't want to say group therapy. I say group empowerment. That's mainly what I offer. Mm-hmm. And I also take the time to work with some of the counselors that are in the programs or schools. I've had meetings with them to explain to them about the book because they don't know the angle to deal with some of the inner city kids. And I explained to them, if you read this book, introduce this book to your students, you will have a better way to communicate with them. Gotcha. You know, everything isn't always the books that they get from the universities. Right. You know, like, I get that. Right. You know, I'm not discrediting that, but we need material that is relevant to their current struggle.
Right. That's the key.
So basically I give services to the youth, but I also work with the people that mentor the youth. Right. So like the teachers and stuff. I've had meetings with them, and sometimes it goes good, sometimes it goes bad. Because I'm not going to back down. Right. You know, I'm not going to dim my light for anybody.
Right, got you.
As you should, you shouldn't,
And then you just get a certification to train kids or something?
I got a certification to train adults.
Okay.
I'm supposed to have my first course end of June.
Okay.
I train youth too, but I train adults in youth mental health first aid. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'll train adults on how to help young people that are going through mental health challenges and how for adults to be able to identify it. Because what a lot of adults don't realize is for us, depression, anxiety, and other social disorders come out as aggression. So if I'm being combative to you as an adult and I'm coming back at you, it's because I'm probably having a mental health challenge that may be in crisis mode. And if I can't recognize it as an adult, I'm not going to know how to help you. So what I'm supposed to do, which I am going to do, but my schedule, I don't know if it's going to happen June, July, and August, or July, August, and September. But a lot of the mentoring organizations in the city of Camden are going to take my course, so all their staff that are dealing with kids will have youth mental health first aid training. Nice. So they're able to recognize and identify what's going on. So my ultimate goal for all those that watch is I want to do first responders too. I'm getting a certification in that too, where I'm able to train first responders on how to recognize people in mental health crises and people having mental health challenges when they respond to jobs. Gotcha. So it'll eliminate all of the George Floyds and the choking out and the stuff that they do when they respond to people who are having mental health challenges. So,
not to interrupt you. So since you mentioned, our time together in the uniform, it's a young man. I'm not gonna say his name. I mean, he's not, a kid or anything. He's an adult. But we had a job. I think it was on like Lansdowne or somewhere. Not Lansdowne. We were in the area of Sylvan, and it was a situation where a guy had just came home from prison, and it was a lot of officers there, and it looked like, it was possible that this guy was probably going to get, it was going to go bad.
Right.
And me and you talked to this individual, and he was high off of PCP, and I knew him, and you talked him down, and I kind of, threw my couple words in because I knew him, but we got him. and I was out. I was in Ablett Village. I still have a lot of family in Ablett Village. I was out Ablett Village, excuse me, a couple years ago, and was with my family members, and he happened to be there.
Oh wow!
And he looked at me, and he was like, "What's up, bro?" And I was like, "Hey, what's up?" You know, I'm not thinking about the situation. Right. And he reminded me of what we did, and he was so thankful. He was so thankful for what we did. He said, "Y'all saved my life." He said those cops were gonna kill me. Wow. He said I was super high.
Right.
But
that's what's up.
me and you had talked to him.
Okay, cuz I see your work.
I don't know if you remember.
You know, my thing is I just always wanted everyone to go home safe. Now, and anybody that knows me know, and I jokingly say this, but I have locked up my mother. So if you're wrong, I'll lock you up. But I also want to get you help.
Right.
And not everything requires you to go to prison. Some people really need help. Right. You know what I mean? There's other ways to get people help, but there's other ways to get people to conform. Right. You know what I mean? You don't always have to use force, that type of force, because some people are really having challenges. And what people don't understand or realize is what some people use as a coping skill is, if I'm hearing voices in my head, I self-medicate. Right. Now, if I don't have insurance to go to the doctor to get the proper medication, I'm going to use coke. I'm going to use opioids. I'm going to use weed. I'm going to use whatever I could get my hands on.
Right, facts.
You know what I mean? Heroin. I'm going to use all of it because I need to shut this stuff up. And it becomes, but hey, sort of it was a learned tool.
That's what's up.
And now I just want to give it to our community, because my thing is I see people every day, and I see people, white, black, orange, or green, who are struggling. Right. And I think all of us, if we can just have some empathy, because a lot of us have the same things going on in our families, and we try to act like we don't. Right.
We do.
And we do. And I just want us to have empathy so you can have a conversation with people, and just to try to help them. Yeah. Like real quick off topic, I have this friend I went to school with since kindergarten. She graduated from Camden Catholic. I ultimately graduated from Camden High. She's on the street. She's been doing drugs since 10th grade year in high school. And when I was a police officer, I used to be able to keep eyes on her because she would walk up and down Mount Infant Avenue. And that's how I knew she was okay, right? So then I retired. I had nice little bar at one point, and I was still out at 3 a.m, so I would see her. Then for a little while, when I just went to a regular 9 to 5, I was scared because I never don't see her because she's a night person. So I ran across her like last year before last, and I said, you good? She was like, I'm still out here doing me. Her kids are grown. Yeah. She never raised none of her kids. Her mother did. Every now and then I would convince her to go home. And she said she would be home, but that urge to do the drugs just calls her. So I know it's more. I know it's a mental health issue there, and I've tried talking to her. We've been literally friends. She's my friend.
Gotcha.
So last night we were coming home from Night Gardens, and I had Finasia and the grandbaby in the car with me, and I seen her. I hadn't seen her in a while. And I busted Yui. I was like, Faze, I'm sorry. I know you in the car, but I gotta go. I gotta make sure. I gotta let her know that I see her. I just need to make sure she's okay. She disappeared on me. I done lost my cop skills. I made a U-turn. She was gone. I said, dang, they still got them kind of skills. They just, like that. You'll see them. 1 minute you see them, and the next minute they gone. So, but anyway, I say that to say, listen, my spidey senses is gone. So my thing is, I say that to say, a lot of our people, we suffer from mental health issues, and it turns into narcotic use, and then it turns into addiction, and then it turns into homelessness, then it turns into, just a lot of things, and we just got to start recognizing that. Let's bring back humanity when we really look at people as being human. True.
Before we get out of here, what in your opinion can we do, because we need more people, in this mentoring game, what I'm saying, that really care about especially these young kids and trying to, help them as much as they can. In your opinion, what do you think, what can we say to people? What can we do just to get more people out involved? Yeah,
I really, honestly, I think we we had to focus on being parents again. We had to stop trying to conform to social media standards of doing certain things and really be parents. There's never a perfect parent.
Right.
You know, my parents were not perfect. You know, none of my parents weren't married.
Right.
And me, you know, my children are being raised in a married household, but I'm not perfect.
Right.
My wife's not perfect, but I take a lot of time to pour into my kids. A lot of conversations, even conversations that they don't want to hear. They probably get, you know, I've heard them say like, here he goes again. Like, you know, I'm always talking to them. The mentoring starts home. You know, once we start doing that again and stop, you know, it's okay to send your kid to somebody to get help.
Right.
But that shouldn't be the first line. The first line of defense really is
should be
at home.
Right.
You taking the time to say, you know what, let's go down the basement and have a talk. Or let's take a walk.
Right.
You know, let's hop in the car. I need to have a conversation with you.
Right.
We need that.
I
And
agree.
we, you know, and we also got to big up the people who are being good parents because they're the mentors.
Right.
You know, so you know, for me, that's what I believe.
That's what's up.
You know,
No, that's
Do you have a couple people that mentor with you? Or it's just you doing the?
it's just me.
Okay.
You know, I tried to bring some people on before, and it's a reliability.
Got you.
You know, like this is a fragile situation. So when I say I'm going to be somewhere,
right.
I'm going to be there.
Got you.
You know, it can't be, I can't, you know, I thought I could do it.
Right.
But you, because I agree, because not everybody's gonna be as passionate or have that like you have for yourself. But you also need to know this. I'm going to say several things. In mentoring, it's tiring. In doing groups, it's tiring because you'll have one or two kids in a way on you. So you may need to look into getting somebody that you can tag in every now and again so you can breathe, right? That's one thing. We'll talk about that offline. I don't know her personally, but your wife is beautiful. And it appears that you guys have a beautiful marriage. And I love black love.
Yeah, that's what's up.
I love black love.
Thank you.
I love when I see you big up her. I love what you guys have. And I don't even know much about it, but what I do know of it is I love black love, and you guys are exhibiting black love. And it's a great thing. Keep doing what you're doing with your wife and with your family. And just know, you know, mentoring does start at home. And it's funny because my children, and even Amadeus before he passed away, must have took the spirit of their mother, and they're like mentoring all these different people. And like my daughter has, now I have bonus grandchildren because my oldest daughter has a couple kids that call her mom. So now they call me grandma. I'm like, I'm their bonus grandma. But it comes from me, them watching me do it with kids and me doing it with kids older than them and then with their friends. And now they're adults now, they're doing it. So mentoring happens because, you know, like coaching for him, this is what he sees. Well, coaching and mentoring runs hand in hand, but this is what he's seeing. So you're right, it starts at home. So your kids are probably going to take on that same spirit. But, you know, listen, you can only change one person at a time.
Well, I am going to tell you, I've backed off of how much I used to do it.
Okay.
I used to do it a lot. So like I have like two places that I really deal with right now. That, you know, I still honor our contract and I come out and, you know, provide services and whatever. But I'm not like before. I used to be all over. I'd be all over a lot of places in PA. You know, I would do stuff in the city, and you know, now I'm just like, you know, because I'm learning the real estate thing.
Right.
I'm trying to build that up, and you know, I have a great mentor with Mr. Bayard. I work with Raymond Bayard Real Estate.
Okay.
And he's my mentor. Okay. And I mean, he really.
So are you going to completely push back for the mentoring thing once the real estate thing pop off?
No,
Okay.
I will never do that. I can't pour into it as much as I, you know, before I was out of my house a lot. And like now, I'll do something maybe once a month or, once every other month. And then the other place will call me and say, hey,
Right.
What about these dates?
Well, just know you ever need somebody to tag in. That's what we do at Daylight. You need somebody to fill in the gap. You know what I mean? I'm pretty good at what I do. A little talking, a little bit, little bit. I mean, just as because you always need other people to cut. You know what I mean? And it's a bunch, not a bunch, but it's some other organizations out there that wouldn't mind, collaborating with you. Just as a support. It's about support. Right. It's like for me, when I started Daylight, I had no idea that it was going to turn into a business. I just wanted to get the message out. Mental health is real. Suicide is real. And so many people have their kids and young people die by suicide in the city of Camden that we don't know about.
Right.
Because people keep that under wraps because the families are embarrassed. Like it's real, it's real, it's real. That's all I wanted to do. And then I need you to come speak here. I need you to come speak out. Next thing I know, it was like, you can't give all your services away for free, Tracy. And I'm like, what? It was like, you can't get, you're emptying your picture. You can't do it for free. And I'm like, but what am I supposed to do? I'm a cop. Like, I was a cop. Like, I don't know nothing about business. Somebody help me. You know what I'm saying? Somebody help me.
You have to do that.
Yeah.
You got to get paid.
Yeah. So somebody help me. So now that's where we at. But I've been technically doing Daylight since 2014, but I didn't become a nonprofit till 2021. So I'm an official 501c3 nonprofit, state recognized. I even did a national speaking engagement via Zoom, but national one about stress, de-stress, and mental health workshop. So my thing is, but I just wanted to get the word out.
Right.
So, it's like I said, there's other organizations out here that always are willing to give support. Not a lot of them. Just I know that. There's not a lot of them because for some apparent reason, people really think it ain't enough people out here to service. No, it's enough people. We ain't in no competition because I can't take all 300 people. Right. I can only take maybe 10, and maybe you could take 10, you could take 10, but everybody wants, they don't.
And they, the thing is, and this is what I ran into because when I first started, I actually wasn't charging. I was just charging for books. Right. And, people, and I've been blessed, there are people that have purchased 500 books, 200 books. Right. 300. I've spoken at Wilson. I've spoken at Camden High. I've spoken at Pine Point. Actually, they had a luncheon for me at Pine Point. This is years ago. Right. But and a lot of places in PA I've done work for, and I've done work with the Destined for a Dream Foundation out in Bristol. A good friend of mine, Erica Waller, she has that program. Shout out to her. She's doing it. She's partnered with, I think, with the Eagles and some other other businesses. Right. But I've done work with them, and I actually worked with them for a lot of years. But people get offended when you say, "Hey, there's a fee for me to come in here." Right. And it's like, whoa, well, why you don't want to do this for the kids? I thought you were about the kids. And it's like, well, I'm away from my own kids right now. Right. And it's like, it's gas to come here.
But it's not it's prep work. Like, before I do a workshop, first of all, and I say this openly, honestly, and I don't care who judges or whatever y'all think, I because of being a police officer and because of all the trauma I went through in my family, I suffer from depression and anxiety. Right, I'm diagnosed. I have depression and anxiety. It's diagnosed. So to prep to do a workshop, my anxiety level be on a beam because I always think I'm no good. So I gotta do all this, and I'm researching. I'm putting this here, and I don't want to say that. I want to put. So it's a whole process. So it ain't. And I don't just show up to your place and shoot off the dome. I gotta make sure my facts is right, my statistics is right. So you want to tell me to come and do it for free? I did after dinner. I sat for 2-3 days to come up with this hour workshop.
What about the tears? I mean, like, because each time you go out, you're almost like re-traumatizing yourself.
Yep.
So, like, and I know for me, like, I'll speak and, one of the kids may say, hey, how did you deal with what you experienced and this and that? And it's like, whoa. I gotta, I gotta go through this again. I gotta break it down to you. And it's, Listen, I've been places. I remember I was at the Youth Study Center in Philly, and I spoke to, at that time they had maybe 180 kids in there. So I'm going to different wings, and then I got to the wing where the kids that were headed upstate. These were, I guess, what they would call a body block.
Okay.
These kids had bodies, so and they were a rough group.
Right.
But I remember talking about what I needed to talk about, and they were very attentive.
Right.
But I can see that I was touching some guys, and my book was there.
Okay.
I forgot that I had a deal with them. They had bought some books off of me like a couple years ago.
Right.
And the guy was like, "Hey man, that book right there to talk about the first book." He's like, "That was in the library. I got it." I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "It's in my room." I was like, "Wow."
That's what's up.
But he was saying, how it touched him, and I got emotional.
Right.
And that's the thing that costs.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
That costs, and like for me, because I deal with mental health and suicide awareness and prevention, I have to be transparent. So in being transparent, I have to tell people my son took his life with my duty weapon. I have to tell people the aftermath of the trauma that my entire family suffered. I have to talk about how many football players that was friends with my son suffered. I got that's the stuff I got to bring up. But my thing is, that ain't free.
Right.
I used to give it out for free until I realized I was sitting home at night drinking pots of coffee because I couldn't. My head, I was having the front. Like, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so but you're right. Like and I don't even charge as much as people charge. But when I give you my fee and you be like, "Oh well, we're not going to use." Okay.
Right.
Because if you won't pay, somebody else will. I'm cool with it. I'm cool.
Right.
But I had to learn that.
Yeah. True.
It's business, and and I had this conversation with somebody from the city, from Camden, and we were talking, and I was like, "Look, I want to come out, but I'm telling you, this is what it's going to cost for me to come out." And they were like, "You charging?" And I'm like, "Well, I have a business. I have an LLC,
Right.
And I have, right now I have this business, but I also have another business. I have New View Properties. That's my other business.
Okay.
Where, I'm trying to build that up with rental properties and, expand that. But if I deal with anybody else outside the city, for me to request something from them, from their business, they're going to charge me. So, why do we have an expectation of the buddy fee or the homie fee or because we black,
the homegirl hookup, the homeboy hookup.
Yeah, and it's just it's not fair. And I've seen a guy, I got beat out of a deal that I was going to go speak somewhere.
Okay.
And the crazy part, I was a lot cheaper than the other person.
Gotcha.
The other person, he charged $1,200 to come in and speak, and I'm like, you got $1,200? But it was a guy that had turned his life around, and he was on crack, and got clean.
Right.
And I was just like, all right,
Right.
But they paid him.
Right. I got you.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
it was a school, and they paid him.
Right.
So it's like, why? Why do I got to keep hearing the buddy flag?
I understand that from you because, I know what my lane is. I can my certs, my experience, all of that speaks volumes.
Yeah, it does.
Volumes. They'll go get somebody from that story ain't even halfway near of how I can touch a kid.
Message.
And the message ain't even halfway clear just to avoid from dealing with Tracy Hall.
That's true.
But see, here's the thing, Tracy Hall is in the community. So somebody gonna hear, see, or feel my story, whether you wanna give me what I charge or not.
That's right.
True.
But just know my story is very relatable to people who live in this area. You would rather use somebody that's unrelatable rather than somebody that can give these kids and these young people and these adults. I remember that situation she's talking about.
Yep.
Oh, I remember that. How she got through it or how you can get through it.
Yeah.
They would rather use somebody that can't even correlate what people going through versus just to pay me what I asked for.
Yeah, true. It's a shame. It's definitely a shame.
And it happens.
And it happens, right.
It happens a lot.
Yeah.
It's you know, like I said, I still do it. I still mentor.
Right.
And I feel like I do more mentoring on my jobs than I do
Gotcha,
anywhere else.
gotcha.
You know, and I work at a university, and I'm in the housing department, and the people like my coworkers, other professional staff, they're like, there are students coming here to talk to you about personal issues.
Right.
You deal with housing.
Right.
You deal with getting them into the dorms
Right.
issues with, the money getting paid and all that stuff. Like, why are you having conversations with them about that? And I'm like, this is what I do.
Or say because I can.
Right.
Because and somebody had made comment about my role and what I do, and I'm supposed to, deal with families, right? But I'm always dealing with the kids. But I can't tell you what the family needs if I don't know what the kid's problem is.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So in whatever your job is in housing, you can't understand how to actually help them with their housing needs unless you know who they are, right? And how you can get them what's best for them. And you're easy to talk to. And sometimes people just need somebody to listen.
Yep. Definitely.
That's true.
Definitely. So before we wrap this up, future plans. I know you talked about building the real estate situation and still building your new view and all that.
Building that, getting my baby boy into school.
Gotcha.
Robert's great, go to college.
What are the age of your children?
So my oldest is 23. He's going to college down south, and Rob is 17. He's about to be 18. So he's going to go to Rutgers.
Okay.
He'll be Rutgers Camden.
Okay. My alma mater.
Yeah. So and Derek, we're trying to figure out what's going to happen. We're hoping that something good happens.
How old is he?
Right.
Derek is 16.
Okay.
So he's, he works really hard for the football thing.
He does.
He has his camp tomorrow, so this week he's been going crazy.
Right.
Sometimes, and stop me if I'm wrong, Coach. Sometimes hard work beats talent.
Oh, definitely.
Hard work beats talent.
Definitely.
So people notice when you're working hard. So that's how we keep working hard.
Yeah, Derek. Shouts out to Derek. Shouts out to Rob too. They both hardworking kids. Rob worked hard. You know what I'm saying, to get on the field. It was a shame senior year ended with he broke his hand.
Yeah.
It was just a shame that happened. But both his kids work. They put the work in,
Coach.
and it's definitely good to see what you do. You're at everything. You know what I'm saying? Football, because they do football. Derek wrestles. Rob runs track. You know what I'm saying? And he's always there. You know what I'm saying? Always there. Always a kind word to say to the coaches. You know what I'm saying? He's not this parent like, why my son ain't playing? Nah, he comes, he supports, and he lets let them do what they need to do to get on the field, and that's a breath of fresh air. You know what I'm saying, in this day and age, because you get a lot of parents, a lot of sideline coaches. I like to call them. You know what I'm saying? I know you hear it. Sitting up in the stands. I know you hear all the criticism and everything else. You know what I'm saying?
Me. I'm a sideline coach.
But at least you know what you're talking about, though.
Me
you know
and
what I'm saying?
me and
But
me.
at least you know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So one of those parents that act like they know what they're talking about and they're so super wrong. You know what I'm saying? But
and I'm also one of them parents that I not only yell at my kid, I yell at whoever other kid is on the floor, because I need them to be in the position that we need them to be so we can score.
Well, what I'm gonna say, and shout out to you and the coaching staff.
Appreciate that.
Talking. And I say this in the stands. I say it to my children. You guys really take the time to mold these young men into becoming men. And I say that to my kids because I say, I don't worry about all this other stuff that people talk about. Like, Rob didn't start until his senior year.
Right.
And Derek wasn't starting, and then he worked his way into a starting role as a sophomore. But I always talk to him about being humble and just listening to what you and the coaching staff were saying to them.
Gotcha.
And that's something that's going to go with them for the rest of their lives.
Right.
And I see y'all talk to them.
Right. Yep.
It's not like I'm just saying this to say it.
Right.
I come when y'all in summer camp.
Right.
I sit up in the bleachers and
Yep.
I've taken off work
Yep.
just to go see this.
Yep. True.
Because I like what I'm seeing. You guys really pour into your athletes, and it showed. Y'all went 8-0.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and nobody is like beating down on these kids or anything. And I love that. And I love that because of I see what I saw in high school. When I was in high school and I played for Darrell Wilson, you know, shout out to him. Coach Darrell Wilson, he poured into those young men.
Right.
You know, he talked to us like men. You know, so I see that, and I see you guys do it, and like y'all do an awesome job of that.
Appreciate that.
Y'all really do an awesome job, and I love that. Like y'all not beating these kids down. These kids aren't feeling defeated.
Right.
Like these kids know, like there's
your back.
It ain't just the
You know what I'm
game.
saying? Right,
you know,
right,
like
right,
we're
right.
giving you something that
We
we're gonna
got
take.
you.
You're
That
gonna
you can take
this.
with you. You know what I'm saying? That
so-
you're gonna take with you.
So
And
shout out to y'all for that.
I appreciate
y'all.
Appreciate it. Coach Wilson, he's at Dell State now.
Yeah.
I believe the defensive coordinator. I think.
Yeah.
He's one of the coordinators. I think it's defense, but he's one of the coordinators. But yeah, he's at Dell State now. He was just at Pensacola a couple weeks ago.
I saw the picture
yeah.
on the west
Yeah,
on
he was
the
definitely
social
there.
media.
Shout out your social media real quick before we get out of here. Where they can find you at?
New View Mentoring on Instagram, Rob Bayard on Facebook, and Rob Bayard on Instagram.
Okay, there we go. So reach
Rob
out.
Bayard 77. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
on
got you.
Instagram.
Got you. So reach out. You know what I'm saying? You got some real estate questions. You got some mentoring questions. Reach out to him. I'm sure he'll respond and try to, you know, steer you in the path you need to go into. You know what I'm saying? So again, thank you. Appreciate you. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate
Learned
you.
some things that I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to your sister, Nick. I didn't even know Nick Dosh was your sister. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, how did I not put this together? You know what I'm saying? Last names, but shout out to Nick. You know what I'm saying?
Like my,
we'll go way back.
Nick like my second mom, man, 'cause my mom worked all the time.
Right.
My mom was always working.
Got you.
So Nick would she be the one like cooking dinner.
Right,
and,
got you.
You know, I gotta tell her cooking was good. 'Cause I be messing with her all the time. Like, he was trying to kill me back then. But she, you know,
That's
she
what's
held
up.
it. She held it down.
That's what's up.
So
Yeah,
she
good
really,
peoples. Definitely good people.
Always had my
Definitely good peoples. That's what's up. Bowling with a Purpose. Don't forget that's still going on Sundays at the Westbrook Lane.
Brook Lawn
Starts
Circle.
at 10:30. You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to Orlando and Wallace for putting that together. Not last week, but the week before. The mayor swung through. Vic,
That was
2 weeks ago?
last week.
That was last
when
week?
I beat you.
See, we ain't had to. See, we ain't had to bring that part up.
Because I just didn't want you to be confused as to what week it was.
Yeah, she got me. That's all right. I'm going to get her tomorrow. Clean sweep tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
Because you're going to bring out your ball.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. You know what I'm saying? I was rolling with it the other day. We had the coaches was over here on
So you
Friday.
practice?
Yeah.
you
We
trying to
was
cover my
here,
neck.
and then you know what I'm saying. My baseball coaches, shouts out to Roe and all them guys. And we went over to Penn Setters and got in there a little bit. Matter of fact, that was Thursday. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm gonna be ready tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Be ready. I'll be on my A game, hopefully. You know what I'm saying? I know we have the Daylight Weekend coming up. Let's talk about that before we get out of here.
Before I get into that, I need to say, anybody out there, please just pray for Coach Hanson. No questions asked. Just keep one of Camden High's favorite coaches in your prayer. Him and his family, please keep him in your prayers.
Definitely.
Daylight Wellness Weekend. This is our second annual. We're rolling. So what we do is I take an opportunity in one weekend in June, the first weekend in June, to bring out and just recognize mental health and how to become resilient and recover. And it's a weekend to have fun while learning how to and understand mental health. So we started off June 1st, which is Thursday at 5 p.m. We'll be at the waterfront in front of American Water. It's a balloon release. So it's a couple other families that are coming out. Anybody that has lost a loved one to a mental health challenge, to suicide, or have a loved one that's struggling with mental health challenges, still readily struggling, feel free to come out. with your family. Bring your colors, balloons that represent your family. We have like a little prayer, and then we do a balloon release in memory of my son, Amadeus Desmond Hall. June 1st, 2012 was his passing. It was the day he took his life due to mental health issues that we did not know that he had. So we start the weekend off on that day, as June 1st is the day that he passed. So the next day we are not doing, June 2nd, we're not doing much, but Saturday, June 3rd, we are having a fun day at Woodman Park. We have vendors, we have resources, the city will be out, other mentoring programs. We have artists coming out to show people how to do therapeutic art that helps with stress, de-stressing, and dealing with mental health challenges. It's going to be a day of fun. We're going to have free food, free activities, DJ, family, resources. Just come on out to Whitman Park and have a good old time. And then for those that would like to have an intimate, fancy brunch on June 4th, we have wellness brunch. And at the brunch, we have a panel of mental health professionals, and we do a chat and chew, and we discuss issues, question and answers about mental health and what it means and what it looks like. And again, all of this is geared around support, letting people know you're not alone, letting people know there's resources out here for you and your family, accessible and obtainable resources. And it's also an opportunity for us to understand how important mental health is and being well. So we take this opportunity. Like I said, we kick off June 1st. June 1st, balloon release.
And the mixer.
Oh, the mixer is also June 1st from 6 to 9 at 6th Street Lounge. It's an opportunity for adults to get together, like-minded adults, just to chat, with some, adult beverages and just chat. Because, we're all going through something.
True.
So if you're in a room of people who are going through what you're going through, it's an opportunity for a soundboard where you can talk and get some answers and talk and just, relax and de-stress and release and just converse with some people who understand what it is to go through some stuff, right? Because we all go through some stuff.
Yes, we do.
So again, all the flyers are up. Feel free. Make sure the Whitman Park activity is free. Bring the kids out. Bring the family. Just come and enjoy a whole day with some people that want to love up on some folk, right? We about loving up on our community. We about giving back to our community. And we'll be out there from 2 to 7 on June 3rd, so please show up. I'm going to say this in my closing today. None of us are perfect, but every day just try to be a better person than you were yesterday. So if God grants you the grace and mercy to wake up, just be better than you were yesterday.
Facts. I love it, cuz. Well, that's episode 97 in the books. You know what I'm saying? Getting closer to that 100, you know what I'm saying?
I know.
Getting closer to that 100, you know what I mean? So, just thank, everybody that watches and comments and hits us up and things like that. We definitely appreciate it, you know what I'm saying? Because, without y'all, there is no Birdcage Show, you know what I'm saying? Thanks again to my man Rob for sliding through, spending a little time on the couch in the cage with us, you know what I'm saying? We got merchandise, you know what I'm saying? I got those tees, you know what I mean? Just hit me up and I'll get those tees to you know what I'm saying? It's funny just like starting to see it floating around, you know what I'm saying? Yes. People are actually wearing them, wearing my coworkers, big supporters, and, I'm starting to see the Birdcage Show merchandise floating around, you know what I'm saying? So thank you for those that have purchased and, just hit me up, like I said, if you need that, you know what I'm saying? Episode 97 is in the books. The lovely Cousin Tracy, you know what I'm saying, as always. And once again, I am Sechuayo, a.k.a. Coach Bird, and I'm the host of the BYRDCAGE Show, and we'll talk to you soon.
It was a stone groove, my man.